just wanna run it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Welcome back to the channel. It's Aalon. I first want to start off with this video and state that the brand that you saw in the sequence, I was not paid to do, and I shot this on my own accord. And also the main subject, it was purchased with my own funds. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a editing breakdown specifically around the music track and a few of the initial sequences. So the very first thing I like to do is find some music that's going to really set the mood of the track. I think it's important to get the music just right because it's going to really help to tell that story of the sequences or the video that you're shooting. And so for me, I did find a piece of music that I really liked. However, I didn't like it in its entirety, and I only want to use 30 seconds of the actual video, the actual music clip. And so with that, I'll just kind of play the beginning of the track to kind of give you an idea of what it sounded like. So as you can see that the track itself, the audio track itself is way too long. It took a long time for the beat to actually kick in. And so I had to do a little bit of editing into this to make it just right of how I wanted the video to flow. And so this took me back to my audio recording days when I used to engineer at a local audio recording studio. And so I really like how this turned out. I think that the track was very fitting and some of the lyrics fit the video, and so I edited in spots where I thought it would work. So let me disable this track and I'll play the track. And so the markers, the first thing I like to do is I'll listen to the track a bit and I'll put markers where I think where either the hit or the kick comes into play. And a lot of the times I'll change it up as far as the sequences because you'll have that rhythm, but I think it makes it a more visual presentation when you don't have the same rhythm all the time throughout the entire sequence. And so that's initially what I do is I'll lay out my markers on the audio track and then I come back and do my edits within the video itself. And so this track here is a compound track, and I'll show you exactly how this worked for me. Zoom out a bit so you can kind of see the entire track. And so there was bits and pieces that I wanted within the music or the audio for this sequence. And so I wanted to capture some vocals early on. And so I cut some vocals from the very end of the track. Down in here, you can see this is the cut that I made. And then I just dragged it down towards the bottom here, and then I did some muting, some cutting and some muting of the instruments, the bass, and the drums, and I laid that out exactly how I wanted it to sound. And so because the sequence is only 30 seconds, I didn't want all of the extra items that's going to be within the song to be played, and so I made it work just how I needed it to work for this edit. And at the very end, I really liked how the song ended, and so I did another cut and I lined up the bass, the drum, along with the vocals to give me that smooth ending that you saw here. So I'll close this and I'll play this once through.
Lately I just wanna run it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Lately I just wanna run it up.
So I really like how that sound, and this worked for this flow and allowed me to be a little bit more creative with the edits of the actual sequence. And so that's why I did what I did here. This was a very simple sequence to shoot, and I tell you that when going through this, I kind of had this vision in my mind as I was doing the shots, and the biggest thing that worked is editing or shooting for your edit. And that's one of the most important things when you're putting a video like this together, is that you definitely want to have something in mind of how you want to edit when you're shooting, because it makes it a whole lot easier in post. So I'm going to disable the audio track just for a moment, and we're going to walk through the first sequence of how I edited to this. So I'm going to enable this first track here using the short keys here, and that's just V on the keyboard. And so there is some speed ramping that is going on. So it's starting very fast and going very slow. And so the shoe is just really spinning. And so I wanted to give that effect of the shoe kind of slicing in half with a smaller shoe going in the opposite direction. And so how I accomplished this is I copied the initial track on the timeline, made a copy a couple of different times. And so I'm going to enable this track here. And so I matched up the speed of this clip and this clip here to line just right. And what I did was I did a custom edit to make it in reverse. So this allowed me to get the shoe to appear that it was sliced in half by the smaller shoe. And so let's watch this from the beginning. So the other thing that I wanted to do was create some simple text. So I did so in Apple Motion. And so there's a couple of different ways you can approach this. You can definitely do all of your animation in Apple Motion and then export that over into Final Cut Pro. But for this particular sequence, I felt that just doing the edits in Final Cut Pro worked much better, and I could keep the text aligned with the music and with the video, having a better sequence. So let's jump into how I did the text and aligned it with the music. And so I'm going to enable all of these clips here. Make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. So we're gonna run through real quick and how this flowed. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have the white text flipping and flashing to a red text, and I aligned this all to the beat of the music. Enable the audio track. Play it back again.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
And so I cut it right before, or shortened the text titles right before it got into the full speed ramp. And then right above, I added some additional text with the slogan of "Just Do It." Very simple to do. And again, it aligned with the beat of the actual track. So I just wanted to share a little bit of the editing that I did for this sequence. And this was a very fun video to shoot and to edit. If you'd like to see more of the editing process that I did for this sequence, please leave a comment down below, and that may be one of the future videos. Thanks again so much for watching. If you are new to this channel, please do consider hitting the subscribe button along with the alert icon to be notified when new content is available. If you did like the video, please do give a thumbs up, because that would be greatly appreciated as well. Like always, be safe, stay creative, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.